Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, the American people are suffering from the impact of historic inflation brought about by President Biden and the Democrats' out of control and reckless spending. Our national debt has surpassed $30 trillion, and inflation is raging across the country, with our latest economic reports indicating that inflation has increased by 7% over the last year, the highest inflation this country has seen since 1982, 40 years ago. At the end of the day, this is not complicated. High inflation, which can happen when the federal government prints money to keep up with massive spending increases, presents a real problem for American families because it means that their dollars have less purchasing power as prices go up, and it erodes the value of their savings. As a result, it's more expensive for hardworking families to put food on their tables, to put gas in their cars, and to heat their homes. Even worse, inflation hurts the most vulnerable among us the most, including seniors who have diligently saved to spend their retirement years on fixed incomes and now find that their savings are worth less than they expected. Dr. Ghilarducci, would you agree that high inflation hurts our nation's seniors and hurts those living on a fixed income?
Yeah, one of the best things about Social Security is that it's inflation indexed. Healthcare prices, oddly, did not go up as much as inflation. So inflation hurts working families for sure, especially if their wages haven't caught up and haven't. But seniors who have Social Security actually got a big boost because of inflation. So it's ironic. I'm not downplaying it, but it's with healthcare not going up as much and Social Security being inflation indexed, they're a little bit more protected.
So I will note that in October 2013, you sent out a tweet that said reports on low cost of living adjustments suggest the system isn't working, but low inflation is good for fixed income seniors.
Yeah, sure.
I,
For those workers for those people who have to rely on 401k distributions, who don't have inflation indexed, sure. But in terms of
so,
the current situation now,
so your views
having
have not
Social Security,
changed. Your views have not changed. You agree that high inflation hurts seniors.
it does, and we need to make sure our cost of living index reflects their patterns. But you asked me about right now, and there are
Well,
other
the
people.
reality right now is that prices are rising across the country and family grocery bills continue to climb higher and higher. Let's review the prices of a handful of popular supermarket items. Over the last year, the price of steak is up 21.4%. The price of chicken is up 10.4%. The price of milk is up 4.2%. Eggs are up 11.1%. And even fresh fruits are up 7.9%. Dr. Ghilarducci, you recently wrote an article for Forbes in which you stated, quote, vegetarians can cope with inflation better than steak eating Ford F-150 owners. And you suggest that for Americans to survive inflation by switching from expensive things to cheaper things and liking it. Well, I got to tell you, there's a whole lot of steak eating Ford F-150 owners in the great state of Texas. And
Yeah.
wouldn't it be a better way to help Americans suffering the effect of Biden's inflation crisis? Uh, wouldn't it be better to adopt appropriate monetary policies, such as reining in out of control spending and debt, rather than forcing people to abandon their preferences, not eat steak, not drive trucks, change their lifestyle? It reminds me a little bit of the October 2021 Washington Post op-ed in which consumers were just told to, quote, lower your expectations. Is that the right answer for consumers?
Yeah, no. And thank you for reading my stuff. I was making the point that people can change their consumption, but that could be bad. I mean, eating quinoa when you want steak is a decline in the standard of living. Absolutely. But a lot of the places where we're seeing price increases is because of the concentration of monopolies and pricing power in those industries. So we have to look industry by industry to see what kinds of forces are forcing up those prices.
Well, I understand that,
Inflation.
but we're
Yeah.
seeing inflation across the board. I assume all of the witnesses today are familiar with the Congressional Budget Office and the Penn Wharton budget model. Dr. Ghilarducci, are you aware that their recent studies have confirmed that inflation costs the average U.S. household an incredible additional $5,000 per year?
Sure, and we're seeing wages go up, but not all places. Economists know that it affects different people differently, and we need to not let it go out of control. We're in agreement.
And an additional 5,000 a year hurts everybody, but particularly seniors and those on fixed incomes.
People on fixed incomes and low wages for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Dr. Ghilarducci.